Dude. All right, guys, we are live. This is Armbar Radio or the Armbar Podcast. If you guys are watching live here on YouTube, we have so many subscribers going on here, so get interactive with us, guys. Talk to us. You get on Hangouts and use the chat bar on the side here if you're watching. Super excited. This is the Rio Grande Valley Wrestling Talk Radio. I am Mike, the business, and we got over here.
This is Tony, the Machine Matuk. Hi, guys. How are you?
How's it going, everyone? So just to get a little bit going here, let's tell you what Armbar is all about. If you guys are watching here live, and if you're not watching live, you're watching the recording of this. Armbar Radio is basically all wrestling talk radio here in the Rio Grande Valley. And I want to emphasize wrestling talk radio, okay? We don't talk about MMA. We don't talk about boxing. We talk about everything WWE, everything TNA, everything New Japan Pro Wrestling, etc. We have two other guys that do the show with us, actually, Isaac and Jay, who are not here with us today, actually. Isaac's really busy with school, and Mr. WrestlePedia, a.k.a. Jay Achoa, his work schedule is kind of wonky the past couple weeks, or it changed, actually. So they're both our co-anchors. So this week it's just me and Tony the Machine, and we're going to get hyped up for this week's episode of Armbar. Of course, this is today's April the 27th. We usually pre-record this show for the station that we actually give the show to, which is KCYP 97.7 FM down here in the Rio Grande Valley, aka McAllen, Texas. And for those of you who want to listen to us on the radio, they actually replay our podcast live every Thursday night at 9:30. So don't forget that we re-air, and especially over the weekend, Chris and Joe over at the station are nice enough to re-air our show over the weekend. So got to give them thumbs up to that. Give them big shout outs and give them the Wolfpack signs over here. But anywho, I guess anything else you want to add, Tony, to that before we get the actual recording going?
Well, guys, tune in. And I know if anybody that does not watch wrestling, that don't have people, the Hulu channel, and we with the recaps. We'll take care of something in SmackDown. So we'll take care of the recaps for you. We'll even give you a little bit of dirt sheet, what's going on with WWE. So we'll keep you informed with what's going on up to date. I know some people say, man, I haven't watched wrestling since the Attitude Era. I haven't watched wrestling since the Von Erichs. Well, we could talk about that later, but all that good stuff is on the WWE Network.
For how much, Tony?
Free this month. But it's always
free every month.
It's free every month.
It's free to new subscribers, but if you can afford to pay out of pocket, it's $9.99 a month. And don't forget, they sell prepaid cards at like Kmart and Walmart now. So
yeah, $30 for the prepaid cards. Now, guys, if you need to watch, if you need to keep up with wrestling, we'll keep up with that for you. I know everybody doesn't have time to watch wrestling. People work late. They have so many agendas. You could either even watch it on the new NBC Spanish channel.
Really?
They have it on Hulu. They have it on USA on the replay. But we'll keep you informed on it. So this will make it even exciting. Maybe we'll tell our own thoughts about it, what's going on.
Yeah.
But that's what we're here for. And what, like Mike mentioned, Jay and Isaac, they're busy guys, the most brilliant people in the wrestling radio industry today. These guys,
greatest minds.
They are one of the greatest minds. I learned from these guys. Jay, that's why they call him WrestlePedia, because this man has been watching wrestling since he was a little boy. And on top of that, he can keep up with all the independent circuits, especially with Isaac. They work very well as a unit. They're really good with New Japan Pro Wrestling. They keep up with every little thing that's, acquired to these styles. And not everybody watches New Japan Wrestling. If you ever watch it, you can watch it on YouTube. They have a YouTube channel for it. One of the best innovative wrestling promotions. And you guys could keep up with it in case you don't have time. Isaac and Jay are the ones that can take care of that. So be sure to tune in. And for all the Armbar fans that are watching us and supporting us, we want to thank you. Give Armbar some love. We love you guys. And today we're going to have a great show. It's going to be Mike and I And we're going to do our best to make you guys happy.
Flex those guns.
Look at flex those guns, Michael. Look at that. Look at that. He's got the Stone Cold t-shirt.
Repping Stone Cold Steve Austin today. All right, Tony.
Man.
All right, now that we kind of got loosened up, let's go ahead and start the actual recording here. So I'm going to give you a countdown, Tony, all right? Ready on 5, 4, 3, 2.
And welcome to Armbar Radio here at 97.7 FM, the city. Myself, Tony the Machine Matuk, my colleague.
Hi, guys. This is Mike the Business, a.k.a. Michael Bustle over here.
And like I said, again, today, Jay and Isaac are not on the not going to be here today. Isaac has some school-related things to do. He's got a couple exams he's got to study for, some papers to write.
A 12-page essay.
12-page essay.
Yeah,
and then we
good
got
luck.
Jay Wrestlepedia Ochoa. He is busy at work. He's working late hours, but he is here. You know, he's giving us our support. This guy is one of our most brilliant minds. Isaac and him make a great cohesive unit, especially when it comes to the independent circuit and the New Japan Pro Wrestling. But today we're going to be covering Monday Night Raw.
A little bit of NXT as well.
A little bit of NXT. We'll keep you up to date. So, guys, if you don't have time to watch wrestling, we're your sources. We are your sources. We can even do dirt sheet if you want. Maybe go into terminology eventually. But tonight it's Mike and I, and we're gonna revamp the recap. So let's do it.
All right, guys, just a friendly reminder before we get started here. If this is your first time listening to Armbar Radio here on KCYP 97.7 FM, The City, this is a wrestling talk radio show. We talk about WWE, we talk about TNA, ROH, New Japan. The guys that we usually talk about that with are Jay and Isaac, who are out for this week. Unfortunately, they were out last week as well. They got a lot of stuff going on. So I want to give you guys a big shout out. Tony just did actually, and here's my shout out to them. Missed you guys. Hopefully we'll get you guys in within the next week or so. And let's just move forward from that. But anywho, so I want to give you guys a friendly reminder on different ways to listen to us. If you're not listening to us live on 97.7 FM here in the Mission or McAllen area, you can listen to us several ways. You can listen to us via the TuneIn Radio app. Just download the app via iOS or Android device, and then from there, search the keyword KCYP, The City. And if you're not using an Android device or an Apple device, you can also go get on your laptop or home desktop and visit thecity977.com. Okay, I repeat, thecity977.com. So go from there, guys. There's several ways to listen to us. So if you're not listening to us live, you can actually probably listen to a recording of us eventually. So, or live on YouTube. We are streaming live on YouTube right now. So check it out on YouTube. Search the handle KCYP Armbar, guys. But anyway, going forward, let's get into the Raw recap, Tony. Let's start the show off. Do you remember the intro of the show, Tony?
The intro of the show.
Intro to the show. All right, let me get you started. Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon. Okay, well, the intro of the show is Stephanie McMahon appears to the ring.
Boo.
Yes, boo it is. And, you know, she's talking about how the Authority is going to be coming back, I believe, next week, right?
After payback.
After
maybe.
payback.
Vince is going to decide.
So Vince has the decision to make. It's going to be either Stephanie or Shane McMahon. I think Shane McMahon's been doing a great job running the show. We're getting some great ratings, better storylines. Now, you got Stephanie McMahon, and she doesn't seem to be happy with Shane's work ethic. Now, if you think about it, Shane on Monday night said, since I'm in charge for tonight and only for tonight, Stephanie, I would really appreciate you leave our ring. Now, he said our. Have you noticed? Not my. So at least he was he's
acknowledging that she's still part owner.
Yes. So he decides to do something that, I know it's a kind of a wrong thing to do to your own family member. He actually calls security to escort her out of the building. Because he wants to run the business, right? He doesn't want her to put her 2 cents worth. So that was pretty bold for Shane McMahon to call security. So she decides to leave. She throws a big temper tantrum. She slaps one of the security guards, and they're trying to hold her back, man. She's a strong-winded woman.
Oh, yeah, she works out.
Yeah, that CrossFit. She does something with Triple H. But besides the point, it's Shane runs the show, and the matches just keep getting interesting, the promos. And pretty much this Monday night and this Thursday, it's all going to be about promos for this Payback pay-per-view. So let's start off with the first match.
Okay, a match that didn't really make sense to me, actually. A match that I kind of question why this was a match at all, because, I mean, there's really no feud going there. AJ Styles versus Sheamus.
It just didn't make any sense. I mean, okay, you got Sheamus with the
it wasn't a bad match, by the way.
Well, I can understand this because Alberto Del Rio fought AJ Styles. I believe it was on
the week prior.
It was a week prior before SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because last week he fought The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other half of the Bullet Club, Luke Gallows and
Carl
Anderson kind of distracted The Miz, and Styles hit him with the flying forearm or diving forearm.
Yeah, and actually he did it through from the not just from the ropes, but he did it from kind of the ring post.
Yeah, he did it with the ring post.
Yeah,
now I
thought that was impressive.
I think what's going on with AJ Styles, I don't think he's going to be doing the Styles Clash. Maybe WWE wants to actually put that move in the back burner because it almost looks like a pile driver related move. WWE already took out the curve stomp, the pile driver. There's only two wrestlers that could do the pile driver, which is Undertaker and Kane. So I think they just want to, prohibit the concussion issue. But other than that, I've noticed it's one of the members of League of Nations. I think he's going to end up facing pretty much all the League of Nations eventually. But
actually, I kind of have spoilers for you. Actually,
yeah, there's some spoilers about it too. I heard
about that.
I did hear about that too. Yeah. We're gonna get to that later.
We'll talk about it on Dirt Sheet.
Yes, we'll be talking about Dirt Sheet after Raw recap. See, it was AJ Styles versus Sheamus, and the victor was
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles
won by the pinfall, like you said. He did the phenomenal forearm.
The phenomenal forearm.
It's okay match. On a weekly basis, I question myself and why they put these people in these matches. And for the most part, I wasn't upset with the match. I feel like since Shane came in, the wrestling's getting better, but now the storylines are kind of sort of dissipating away.
Synchronizing a little bit.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the middle between, the wrestling's getting better, but there's no storyline. There's really no draw for any of the matches other than that. Okay, like he's giving people chances, obviously, right?
Exactly.
AJ Styles is the number one contender here. Sheamus, he's not really doing anything right now. So it's more of a why is this happening? Why am I watching this kind of type deal? So anywho, let's move forward. I don't even want to talk about
what's the next match?
Okay, well, next match was actually Luke Gallows versus and Carl Anderson versus the Usos, actually. But before that, actually, I want to talk about the Vaudevillains and Enzo Amore and Big Cass all get in the ring with the New Day, Bootios.
Yes.
And if it was more of a segment, not really a match, but
it's pretty much like a promo for a Payback.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be for the number one contender for the tag team titles. That's what's going to be, guys. It's going to be the Vaudevillains versus Enzo and Cass. It's going to whoever wins that bout this Sunday, it will be the number one contender to face the New Day. Will that be for the next coming pay-per-view, or would it be on a Raw or SmackDown?
I mean, you never know with the lower mid-card titles. I mean, like the Intercontinental, the U.S. title, or the tag titles. I mean, I'm assuming that it's probably going to be stretched on as long as they can go. So probably the next pay-per-view, which will probably be like Night of Champions or.
I don't like the bookings right now with WWE. I disagree with also the booking that they're going to also put it. The U.S. Championship, once again, Kalisto versus Ryback.
Yeah.
Ryback already had a title shot. He blew it already. So
yep.
He should step behind the line.
They should have given someone else a shot. Apollo Crews, for instance.
Apollo Crews.
That would have been a good
Sami
choice.
Zayn.
Sami Zayn, yeah. Anyone that went right back.
Or one of the guys from the Social Outcasts.
Yeah, definitely. I think Heath Slater deserves a title shot at this point. He is the main guy for that group, in my opinion.
Heath Slater or Curtis Axel?
Yeah, Curtis Axel, maybe not so much.
Dallas.
Yeah, even Bo Dallas. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, going forward, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus the Usos, okay? And I don't know. I mean, this is the match.
Usos won, I believe, right?
Actually, no.
No.
Carl Anderson and Gallows actually
beat the Usos. Won. They were the victors. And I believe that was their in-ring debut. Even though they didn't wrestle, they actually wrestled that match.
Yeah, that was their first match.
That was their first match. And I mean, it's been about 5 years since Luke Gallows wrestled in a WWE ring.
Yeah,
he was at TNA, and he was also in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I like the new attitude. He's leaned out quite a bit.
He's a big guy.
He's a big dude. Yeah. He's about 6'8", I think about 300.
Just about
300 pounds. And you got Anderson, right?
Carl Anderson. Don't know much about Carl Anderson.
Anderson comes from he comes from New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's also wrestled a few independent circuits. He's very good, by the way. I like the team that they're forming, but I can't believe they end up being the victors.
Yeah,
I thought it was the other way around. My mistake. But these guys are pretty forceful. I thought they would also wrestle in ROH at one point, but these guys, I think will be a great faction. I think they're going to revamp the Bullet Club again this Sunday. It's going to get pretty hard. I mean, it's getting to be very cliche. Mm-hmm. You think about Roman Reigns, his cousins. He's got cousins. He's got beef with the cousins, and it's going to
Speaking of Roman Reigns, he actually came in to actually save the day for the Usos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that happened after the match, after when Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows decided to continue beating down on the Usos, obviously, which, I mean, in my opinion, there's really no feud there at all either. But I mean, hey, they got to have something going, family versus, this new group of people coming in.
I feel like something like this is going to happen. It's gonna explode, and I have a feeling that AJ is, unfortunately, I'm afraid he's going to turn heel this Sunday. It's so easy to put together.
It's really easy. I mean, I don't see any other way for either Styles to either win the title or walk off with his head up, regardless, whether he wins the title or not. So we'll see what goes on from there. But anywho,
what's the next match?
Next match. Sami Zayn versus
that was a good match.
Rusev, actually, and you're not to talk about this, Tony, because like I said, I fell asleep between those two middle segments.
It was actually a very good match, and you got Rusev. He's like a bulldozer. I tell you, he reminds me of the late great Umaga. This man can move. He was doing all kinds of innovative moves, kicked him so many times, slammed him, and you got Lana on ringside. Lana threw like a big hissy fit, and she was just trying to distract, Sami Zayn. And who ends up getting the victory? It was Sami Zayn. He hit him with a roll-up pin. Mm-hmm. And she just starts getting mad. Lana throws a fit. She throws a shoe at him, which is hilarious.
That always happens.
Yeah, she's just getting upset. I know that's the only way Lana will distract a wrestler. She'll come out. She'll get her heels. Unless she wears shoes that are just too big just to do those sorts of actions. So Rusev ends up losing by a schoolboy pin by Mr. Sami Zayn. Great. Finally, Sami Zayn gets a great win. And then moving on.
I mean, I just have to say one thing about the whole Sami Zayn thing is, he is fighting against KO at Payback, right?
He is. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. Moving on. I wanted to. Sami Zayn and KO, they've known each other for years. They were actually at each other's wedding. KO got married. I think he was his best man.
Best friends coming up in the business, yeah.
Yeah, best friends coming into the business. And all of a sudden, KO turns on him because he thinks that, he could just get closer and closer to fame. And he put him out for almost a year. I think it was 9 months. By hitting him with the powerbomb to the end of the apron. But there's some really bad chemistry going on.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be one of the best rivalries of WWE has to offer.
It's going to be a good match at Payback. So hopefully, if you guys are watching this Sunday, keep an eye out. It's going to probably, hopefully, in my opinion, might be the match of the night. This is the only match I'm looking forward to, just because this match buildup has been coming for about a little more than a year now. If you think about it, since Kevin Owens debuted, they've somewhat been feuding on NXT, and then from NXT, KO was the first one to get pushed up to Raw in the main roster, and then after Sami Zayn finally returned from injury, he had a couple matches back in NXT, and then finally towards WrestleMania, they finally gave him his big push, and he's been on the main roster ever since. And this is a match, like I said, a couple years in the making already going on. So hopefully, these guys have been in and out of the ring with each other for a very long time. So I'm hoping this is the match that changes their career paths, hopefully in the near future. So going forward, Tony, okay, let's go on to that next match here. Okay, sorry for the voice changes.
What is the next match?
The next match is actually Apollo Crews versus who?
Oh, it's Stardust.
Yes, there you go.
Apollo Crews cuts out a great promo before the match.
Trying to get interviewed by someone.
Yeah, and I believe Stardust interferes.
Just gets in his face.
And Apollo Crews, I like his demeanor. He comes out as a really nice guy, real happy, go lucky guy. He's very courteous with all the other wrestlers, and he was actually very nice to Stardust. He calls him Cody. I think that was a little bit of a.
He shouldn't have done that. I think that was a mistake. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Cody. But Stardust is in character. He doesn't want to be called Cody. He wants to live up to his ring name. So he called him Cody. But he was he meant well, because he was trying to say, look, I really honor your dad. I have the highest respect over your father, and he helped me he pushed me to get big in the NXT, into this industry, and I have a lot of gratitude for Dusty Rhodes for helping me in this industry. And then all of a sudden Stardust says something pretty derogatory, like a usual heel would say, that if Dusty Rhodes was here alive, he wouldn't even still consider you consider you a asset to this business, something like that. I don't know what he said, but he said something like that, like he wouldn't think would amount to anything or something like that. I don't know what he said, something very derogatory, very cynical. But to that match made a statement. Apollo Crews faced Stardust. And then the match was pretty good, and the victor ended up being Apollo Crews. His standing moonsault, and then he does that tilt-a-whirl powerbomb. To me, I call it a delayed atomic powerbomb. I don't know. What is it called? Do you know what it's called?
I want to call it the tilt-a-whirl powerbomb, actually, but I'm really not too sure on exactly what he does. I mean, it's an innovative move. It's something
very innovative.
Apollo Crews he's not that big of a guy. I mean, he's probably, I want to say he's John Cena stature as far as his build goes. John Cena's a big guy, but I mean, if you think about it,
Apollo has to be about 5'10", 5'11", about 240.
A little under 6 feet, 240 though. Yeah.
He does like a delayed atomic drop, right? He starts with like a delayed atomic drop, then he gives you like a tilt-a-whirl powerbomb. It's like a sit-out powerbomb. So I thought it was a very innovative move. The man has a lot of strength. He can do a moonsault. He can actually hit you with the gorilla press, drops you, and then hits you with the moonsault. That many wrestlers that around 240, carrying all that weight, can do something that innovative. A lot of skill. Congrats to Apollo Crews. Keep doing what you're doing. He reminds me of like another wrestler. He's a little bit shorter, and he's in TNA. Bobby Lashley. He reminds me of Bobby Lashley a little bit.
Lashley was a little taller, actually.
He reminds me of a short version.
Oh, okay, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're completely correct on that. I completely agree there.
His voice is very soft.
Yeah.
He's a very humble guy. And I like the fact every wrestler he works with, he's always nice to them. He doesn't come back with a vengeful or forceful. We don't know yet. I mean, maybe later on during these episodes, but I like his demeanor.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's to come of Apollo Crews. As far as Stardust goes, they still haven't really done much with his character lately. I mean, over the past year and a half, I want to say, ever since he was tag teaming with Damian Sandow, I really haven't seen much other than his, tag team with Goldust, obviously, which didn't really last long. It worked for a little while. They won the championship, for a little bit. And then, ever since they lost the titles and they went their separate ways, you just haven't really seen much from Cody Rhodes, a.k.a. Stardust. So I'm hoping that they really do something with this character.
It's just an ego thing. It's an ego thing. And
something that my buddy Carlos mentioned, and I'm actually going to read the text that he sent me, actually. So if you're listening, Carlos, I'm going to give you a big shout out here, man. This is coming from my buddy who's a huge wrestling fan, right? He says that he didn't agree with me earlier, that he disagrees that the show was no good at all, actually. He didn't think the show was good in the Monday Night Raw. He didn't think the show was good, but here's why he thinks the show was bad, okay? First of all, he says the storylines don't make sense. He said booking is horrible, and he says the whole Reigns versus AJ Styles isn't a draw. So, I don't know whether I can agree with him there. I might agree that might not be the main event that people want to see, but, because Roman Reigns really, as champion right now, isn't really something anyone wants to see. You can hear it when the fans see him out there. They're just constantly booing him.
Honestly, I don't like the booking either, but I'm going to tell you something, guys. Enough with the hating, okay? I'm sorry to say it, okay? Enough with the hating. Okay, look, I can understand Roman Reigns. You guys really like wanting him to be champion since the get-go. Now all of a sudden you guys change your mind. Okay, yes, it's the booking. Mm-hmm. And yes, maybe because he's related to The Rock, and he came straight from the NFL. He played for the Minnesota Vikings. He was the captain of Georgia Tech. Okay, we all get that his attributes. He has a great background. He came straight to WWE Performance Center. He didn't go to any independents and all these other wrestlers that wrestled the independents. Okay, I can understand there's some, hatred on that, but he's the cousin of The Rock. And there are a lot of wrestlers related to other wrestlers that are in this industry because they want to pass down generation to generation. And enough with the hating. Enough with it. It's getting annoying already with the hating and the jealousy. My goodness, if you were Roman Reigns, what would you do? My gosh, he's got an excellent size. He's got strength. He's got strength. He's got innovation. Okay, yes, his promos are not that good. Okay, he can work on his promos, but give this guy a chance. Okay, y'all started hating Cena for a while, and now you guys are coming back to Cena. It's getting annoying already. I can understand why Roman doesn't want to even go through the crowd because he's afraid he's going to get stabbed by the crowd.
And it's already almost happened a couple times.
Yeah, it's happened to Piper. Piper got stabbed in 3 different occasions.
Yep.
Alberto Del Rio got attacked. He got jumped by a fan. Guys, who cares that he's related? Everybody's related in this industry. That's how they get there. And you guys need to get over it. I hate to say it. Love me or hate me for saying this, but you guys need to get over it. Yeah, I don't like the booking either, but it is what it is. No one didn't like Triple H when he got married to Stephanie, and people still probably don't like Triple H either. But to me, Triple H was one of the best cerebral assassins. I think he was one of the best stars of our time. Yeah. And so is Ric Flair. I love Ric Flair. One of the best heels in our industry. So, let this guy coast. Let this guy do his thing. Enough with the hating. The guy just granted a wish from a Make-A-Wish Foundation.
He did.
Cut him some slack. Yeah. Come on. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough, right? Hashtag enough is enough Roman Reigns, guys. That's going to be our new slogan.
Yeah, he is the guy. If you want, we'll put something funny on there. There's a song with Roman Reigns.
Forget no gloves, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, moving forward, Tony. Okay. So after the whole Apollo Crews Stardust incident or match, let's go on to Chris Jericho coming to the ring and demanding an apology from Dean Ambrose, taking away the highlight reel and so forth.
And that was actually a very good promo Dean Ambrose cut.
Yeah.
I liked it very much. The apologizing, he's like, I apologize for those $1,500 ugly boots. Even though they cost $750 each.
He's like, and what's the deal with that scarf all the time, right?
Yeah, so he's just pretty much tearing them apart.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best promos given
in a while.
Yeah, and he put over Jericho.
Yeah.
Very honorary. I mean, I do the same thing. I put over Jericho.
I like the fact that Chris Jericho is actually working with all these new and upcoming guys. I mean, I know Jericho is a part-time wrestler, and he's the guy that, you know, he's in a band. He has his own podcast also. He does what we do. He competes with us, etc. Right? Yeah. But at the same time, you know, the guy, he's still on the road constantly with the family. He's probably got like 2 or 3 kids at home probably, right?
Right.
This guy's in his 40s, and he's still managing to take the time and to help build the careers of other people. You know, I don't see Jericho as a main eventer anymore. The guy's done it all in the business. He's beaten the biggest of names in his career.
Right.
So, I mean, there's really Chris Jericho has nothing to prove, guys. And the fact of, you know, people that are saying out there, oh, I'm tired of Chris Jericho and this and that and blah, blah, blah. The guy can still put on 5-star matches if he wants to.
Yes, he can. Okay? And so, you guys got to quit hating on him too if you guys are hating on me. Watch his matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Watch his matches in ECW. He had great matches in WCW.
Oh, great, yes.
Great. He started in 1990. I don't know if you know, this guy was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. His father played for the NHL.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is incredible what he does. He could play hockey. He could speak 3 languages, Spanish, English, and French. Very, very good on the microphone. The guy throws the best promos. Right now, I think they're a little too cliche. He sounds like Robert De Niro lately. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now?
I am the best in the world. Love when he's like that.
And he's calling everybody stupid idiot. I mean, he used to be a lot worse back in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
He called people
a lot worse
names than that. So I like the other one. He says, tell everybody to shut up on another more derogatory term. I'm not going to mention that on the show.
We'll keep it PG here on the station.
But Jericho could be anybody he wants.
Oh, yeah.
He was rock star Jericho when he had the long hair, and he wore like checkerboard leather pants, and he was awesome. And you know, to this day, I like to see this working together with Dean Ambrose and him. I always wanted to see this match.
Yeah.
To me, this is like a dream match.
Yeah, and I love the fact that when Dean Ambrose made fun of him for having the Bon Jovi hairstyle or something.
Yeah, the Bon Jovi hair, that was hilarious.
Billy Idol hairstyle. So this could be another potential match of the night at Payback. I mean, who knows, guys? I mean, there's a lot of new feuds going on here in the WWE, so you're not seeing a lot of rematches from WrestleMania besides Kalisto and Ryback. That's it, basically. But anyway, going forward, guys, let's talk about, before we cut to commercial, let's talk about, hold on, let's see, how much time do we got, Tony? We got about a couple minutes here, so we got a couple minutes to talk about Natalya versus Emma.
Yes, that was a very aggressive match. Emma was showing some aggressivity during the match.
She did, especially outside of the ring.
She was impressive. And then you had Ric Flair and his daughter Charlotte on commentary, and they were showing up, and they were just, you know, a lot of Byron was saying a few things, Michael and John. And John was, of course, he's a heel commentator. He was just kept, you know, being on Charlotte's side, and it was just starting to get out of hand. But, you know, you could see there's you got to tell, she's got daggers for eyes for Charlotte. And you got her just looking at her constantly during the match. You know, she just won't take her eyes off her. And she defeats Emma with the clean sharpshooter, taps out. And Emma, she had a great fight. She did really well.
It wasn't a bad match at all. I mean, for her returning match, I mean, she's been doing mostly a lot of stuff on NXT to revamp her career, because I mean, we know that there was some outside things that went on with her that basically sent her back to the minors. I hate to say, they sent her back to developmental for things that went went on outside of WWE. Obviously, I'm not gonna explain too much on that. But anywho, she's kind of revamping her career. I like the new attitude. I loved it when what she was doing on NXT. Obviously, she didn't really get too much of a push there on NXT, but I feel like she could be a main eventer in the future. I mean, right now, I mean, yeah, yeah. Well, anywho, so Emma, going back to her, she did have a couple of cool moves that I saw. I remember she just threw Charlotte out of the ring during the match, and gave her like a hip toss or something outside, and I was like, wow, like this is super impressive, So yeah. I mean, she was really physical, like you said. And I'm just looking forward to see what they're going to come with her. Hopefully, I don't end up seeing her on Superstars or something like that to that extent. I'm just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with her in the future. And hopefully, a lot of good things to come. Honestly, and I'm just going to throw this out there, I think she's one of the prettiest divas out there in the locker room. Or, excuse me, one of the woman competitors.
No gloves to that.
Yeah, we don't have the divas division anymore, guys. By the way, but
women now.
Oh yes,
it's women. So we gotta say women now.
Yes.
No more divas. Divas is out of the
divas
question.
term is gone. Let's eliminate that from our vocabulary. But anyway, we're at the 30-minute mark. Tony, go ahead and let's call those beautiful letters.
KCYP LP Mission McAllen.
Okay, and we're back, guys. This is 97.7 FM The City, and you are listening to Armbar Radio. Just a friendly reminder, there are several ways that you guys can listen to us. If you're not listening to us live via 97.7 FM Mission McAllen, you can find us online, obviously. You can go to thecity977.com, or you can actually download the TuneIn Radio app. And from there, all you have to do is search the keywords KCYP The City, and you will find their station listed on the app. Go ahead and click that, and you're able to listen to their great radio station, obviously, and of course the great shows like ours, for instance. Yeah.
Absolutely, guys. Also, if you guys don't have time to watch wrestling, listen to us. And you guys forget to watch us on VSI. It's always on YouTube. You can even go to your Facebook or Twitter, or just go on YouTube and go to KCYP Armbar. You'll see all kinds of episodes. We have a lot of episodes. We have, season 1. This is season 2. A little shaky because Jay and Isaac are not here right now.
Me and Tony aren't used to getting this much mic time.
Exactly.
Sorry, Jay and Isaac.
I know you guys talk a lot because you guys talk a lot about great information.
Yeah.
Finally, we're doing some talking.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually we'll do a brand split. Who knows?
Who knows?
They'll always be here in this station.
I know, Isaac, I saw a message from him and Jay earlier saying that they might try to do like an online Skype session. Not with us, but between the two, and then just have a recording, and I can probably edit it in later or something
absolutely.
like that.
I mean, we're finally talking on the mic. And, hey, no offense to Jay
love you guys.
Isaac. We love you guys. You're like brothers to me. We love you. And Jay's done a lot for Armbar. He's
in such a short amount of time.
I mean, Jay wears all the way from his work to go pick up Isaac at the university, and he's very big-hearted. He works very hard, and I want to give a special shout-out to Jay, and I also want to give a special shout-out to Isaac. Isaac is one of the most intelligent human beings when it comes to wrestling. This guy is
and he's so young also.
And he's so young. He's only 21 years old.
21 years old, and he's so knowledgeable on wrestling, guys. So if you know him at school, he goes to the university, call him out and be like, "Hey, Isaac, you're that armbar wrestling guy, right?"
Exactly. This guy was Seth Rollins for Halloween, and we were having so much fun working together.
Oh yeah.
He looked the part. And you got Mike the Biz here. He was Dean Ambrose. He looked great, and I was Roman Reigns. I think we did a great job. Thanks to my wife, Liza. Honey, I love you. I want to give you a shout out. I want to tell you thank you for putting that whole thing together. So, I love the Armbar team. Hopefully this Halloween, I know it's too early right now. We're talking 6 months from now. Hopefully Halloween's going to be a lot better. Now we got 4. But going back to Raw, what is the next?
All right, next segment. It's going to be a match. It's going to be Baron Corbin versus Damian Sandow, but it never happens. Why?
Never happened. Because this is what happened. Dolph Ziggler, he has to gain some payback.
Finally, Sando gets some airtime, though.
He gets some airtime, and that's exactly what I said.
Yes.
And I was watching Raw. My wife and I were like, hey, honey, look. Finally, Damon Sandoz getting some TV time. No. Guess what happens? You have Dolph Ziggler super upset. He just hits Baron Corbin from behind. And he just trying to get his payback. But all of a sudden, Baron Corbin, he gets the upper hand, throws Ziggler to the steel steps, hits him a few times, and hits him with the end of days. End of credits.
It's pretty much the same scenario for the past, 2-3 weeks already, where Ziggler just gets hit by the end of days, and there's really no follow-up other than the match that's going to happen here at Payback.
It's repeat. It's like it seems like Baron Corbin reminds me of Jake the Snake Roberts. Little bit of Jake the Snake Roberts. I love his ring psychology. The way he comes in. He's got a little bit of a trait of Jake the Snake Roberts, and I like the sneakiness.
Speaking of Baron Corbin, I like how you say, he's got that kind of reminiscence of Jake the Snake. I feel like he's one of those guys that has a lot of presence. When I started watching NXT when I first got the WWE Network, Baron Corbin was actually one of the first standouts that I actually noticed. Not because of his size. I mean, he's a big guy. He can throw anyone around the ring. But the fact that just his entrance, was pretty epic in my opinion. It's kind of like what you see with Sheamus where, they black the lights out and he'll come in, and then the music kind of leads up to, the lights coming back on and the spotlight right on him. Yeah. And, I mean, this guy, he was a former NFL player, former, collegiate athlete, obviously. So this guy, he was never in the indie scenes, and he's made it pretty personal, especially if you watch the show Breaking Ground on the WWE Network, guys, that he wants to be the guy, and he's going to do anything that he can to get to that spot. He doesn't care, what anyone else did, Yeah. I mean, whether or not he had the wrestling background or not, the guy's a hard worker. He's putting in the work. And, I mean, we'll see what's to come from him. What do you think, Tony?
I agree. I mean, a lot of these guys that didn't come from the independent scene, they want to do whatever it takes. I mean, come on. When you see a guy that's 6'8", about 275 to 300 pounds, what do you see? And say you're a promoter, and you need people in your industry. You see a guy 6'8", between 275 to 300 pounds, jacked up. I see dollar bills. I see green.
And he's very agile, the guy. Exactly. He's a former football player. He could probably run really.
He runs pretty fast. He's not fat at all. He's super skinny. He's very lean.
Oh, yeah, he's lean. He can run that 40-yard dash in like a couple minutes probably.
6'8", 275. That's his stats. Guys, that's pretty thin for being 6'8". 265, 275. You see a guy that's 6'8" in this industry is over 300 pounds. Well over 300 pounds. So this guy has a great build. To me, he has almost like a Randy Orton build. Real skinny.
Little taller.
Very skinny.
He's built from the waist up, but he's missing out on his leg days.
Yeah, he doesn't work on legs.
Yeah,
but he's very thin.
He's a very strong guy also. I mean, he's picking up big guys left and right. I mean, I remember he would have matches like with Bull Dempsey on NXT, and he would lift him up, and he's a 300-plus pounder. Like if he was a pillow basically. Exactly. So I mean, going forward, I mean that was that's a match that can't wait to see it on Payback. Obviously,
win or lose, I don't care.
Win or lose, yeah. If Ziggler wins, kudos to him. They need to do something with Ziggler. Okay, I don't know what's going on with Ziggler.
He's busy doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, but anywho, going forward, let's go to the next segment. We have The Miz coming out, and I guess it's somewhat of a version of Miz TV. Not really. I mean, he comes out with his wife Maurice, right? He's holding that Intercontinental Championship. And I have to say, man, as much as people hate The Miz, I think the Intercontinental belt looks really, really good on him. I do not know why.
It does look great on him, but
on me
his
now for him.
Movie promos are terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think, aside from the movie promos, I think what they're doing with him, it's going to get better, hopefully. And I think Cesaro is a good matchup for him. Obviously.
I think so too.
I think they're going to build up.
I'd like to see Cesaro be the new Intercontinental Champion. He looks like a champion. I like the new Superman gimmick. He wears like a nice full piece suit, and he's coming out and he just rips to those clothes like it's nothing. I like the new gimmick. I like the new Bluetooth piece he wears.
Oh, yeah, I like the suit. It reminds me of, what do they call it? The Transporter, yeah. What's Jason Bateman, I think.
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham, my bad, yeah. But he kind of, he comes out with the sunglasses, and he's able to just rip off the suit in one.
And they do a Taken. They did a Taken promo.
Oh gosh, that was just the most horrible thing that you could watch.
They just really ruined it. It's like, golly, I'm not gonna watch Taken anymore. It's like it's not gonna be the same now because Miz really tarnished it.
Yeah.
But I think Cesaro would have done a better promo on the Taken. I don't know who you are, but when I get to you, I'm going to take you out at Payback. I don't know.
Cesaro's got some brushing up to do, obviously, on his promo skills. He hasn't been wrestling for, a good, 5 months since he got injured last December, right?
The shoulder injury, I believe, yeah.
Came back a lot earlier than we expected also. I thought that injury was actually like a 6 to 9 month injury. So when he came back, I was really surprised.
Too many swings.
But, yeah, hopefully we see a lot of Cesaro swinging at Payback. And I don't know, winner or loser, who do you think is going to take that match at Payback?
I don't know. It could be either or. Come on, remember, Maurice is ringside.
Yeah, Maurice is ringside now. And you know what? Anytime you have, a wife or a female manager at the ringside, that it's up in the air when it comes to that. But anyway, going forward, I guess, main event of Raw, Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio.
Roll my R's. I can never roll my R's, guys. But he's
right. I'm Mexican. It's all good.
Yeah.
Or Hispanic, whatever you want.
All I did to pass Spanish is gave my teacher striped tacos.
Don't willingly admit that on air, Tony, because you never know. This was back in high school, though.
Just probably. Messing with you. I actually worked hard to pass Spanish, but never was able to roll my R's. So getting to the point, the match was very. It was actually, you could so tell Del Rio was putting Roman Reigns over in this one. I've noticed there was a lot of mistakes being made. He pretty much threw himself in the wolves here.
Yeah. And it was a quick match, right? It didn't last that long.
It was a throwaway match.
Throwaway match. Surprisingly, the main event match before, a pay-per-view, which is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. That they're just not really doing anything with the lead ups to these pay-per-views are just not what they used to be, especially like 10 to 15 years ago when, I guess, they didn't really, and I don't know if you remember this, Tony. I know we had WCW, we had WWE, but, I don't remember WWE consistently throwing out pay-per-views every month. They had a pay-per-view every 2 or 3 months. You didn't see Payback, Night of Champions. They didn't have all those pay-per-views back then. They had maybe 4 or 5 pay-per-views out of the year, and that was it. So that's why the build-ups were so much better back then.
And I noticed that, I got to tell you, though, there's a few things I did not like about WCW. Whenever I would watch a match, whether it was Monday Night Nitro or WCW Thunder or Saturday Night event, they pushed the pay-per-views. They would never even commentate about the matches.
Mm-hmm.
They would never commentate about the matches. They would not, whether it was like a low carder or a mid carder, they would never talk about the matches. They're always talking about the big stars and the upcoming pay-per-views. They wouldn't even pay attention to the match. Yeah. That's what I didn't like about WCW at the time.
Well,
Tony Schiavone and Mike today have been talking about mostly, this pay-per-view, Sting versus Hulk Hogan, Starrcade 97, whoever wins the championship, blah, 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 blah. But they wouldn't pay attention to a Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero match. They would talk up whether it was Juventud Guerrera versus Rey Mysterio, or Psychosis, or you had Chris Jericho versus Dean Malenko. They did not mention them. They would rarely talk about their commentary. That's one thing I didn't like. You see good talent in the ring, they wouldn't mention their innovative moves. They just didn't do any of that. They would just talk about the big stars.
Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, Sting, Ric Flair. I mean, the guys that were basically the main event spotter guys back in the WCW era. And this is why the company failed. This is why Vince Russo couldn't do much when he actually got hired by WCW. And even he will say that they had too much. The wrestlers themselves had too much creative control for their matches, and this is why the company ended up failing. And I watched WWE. And the NWO era stuff that they show on the WWE network, and they show a lot of, there's a lot of backstage politics that ended up being the reason why WCW failed. It was because, Kevin Nash had too much creative control over his matches. Even Goldberg, from what I heard, had too much control over what he had to say, like how his match should finish, etc. Same thing with Hogan. And this is why stars like Chris Jericho left. The Big Show left, Paul White. I mean, big names, Eddie Guerrero.
Dean Malenko,
people that are
Perry
all,
Saturn.
I mean, everyone pretty much on that list, they're all pretty much either Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers now because of what from the crossover from WCW to WWE. So you have to take that into consideration. Like, what did WCW do for them? Didn't do much. They were able to get their 5 minutes in during their first hour of their 3-hour show. But I mean, that was it.
I think what happened was Eric Bischoff and those guys. I didn't like the fact the way they just never looked. They always looked down on the wrestlers that were not the particular size or were not that big. I mean, Jericho's only 5'8", 5'9", and you had Eddie Guerrero. Dean Malenko was short. Everybody that was like less than 6 feet tall and barely like 200 pounds. They would never acknowledge them. They wouldn't even acknowledge them. They would take away their talent, like Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero and all these guys. And I can understand why they jumped to WWE because once they see color, they would even go to ECW if they had to. All the bigger stars like Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Lex Luger, Sting, Ric Flair. Okay, those guys are big. But what about this other talent? These guys were the backbone of the industry. And I thought it was unfair about that. But anyway, getting to the point about that last match with Alberto Del Rio and Roman Reigns, what happens afterwards? The Bullet Club comes back.
Yeah, I think Bullet Club shows up, and not the Bullet. Yeah, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows attack Reigns until AJ Styles made them stop, right? And Reigns hits Styles with a Superman punch, and of course from there, Gallows and Anderson come back into the ring. Reigns was winning the fight until Styles hit him with the phenomenal forearm to end the show.
That was actually pretty good.
Yes, so I mean, that's kind of like kind of sneak peek of what could happen at Payback this Sunday, of course. And it's just it's got you thinking: is AJ Styles really the good guy that he's playing out to be? I mean,
I just like the fact that they're building some suspense for this pay-per-view because you got the last finishing touch, the forearm. You got Roman Reigns. He's confused. He's like, hey, what the heck? I mean, this guy, I know his history. He was from the Bullet Club back in New Japan Pro Wrestling. What are these guys doing here? He gets hit by these guys. He comes and he hits AJ with a Superman punch because he thinks he has something to do with that issue. And all of a sudden AJ gets heated because he gets hit with a Superman punch and he wasn't doing anything wrong, so he gets upset and he's like, hey, what the heck is Roman Reigns' problem? Giving me these accusations thinking that I had something to do with it. So you know what? To get even, I'm going to hit him with the flying forearm. Phenomenal forearm. So this is actually very good. The chemistry's building up. This match is gonna pretty much stand out. I think I know who's gonna win on this one. And that's up to you guys. But who knows? We might see a new WWE champion.
Yeah, I hope AJ Styles win because honestly, I just don't feel like Roman Reigns is carrying the title like he should be. It's not because, there's really nothing against Roman Reigns. I agree with you, Tony. I think the people need to stop hating on him as much. They need to just kind of let it flow and let it happen. I think, like I've told everyone in the past that social media and the internet kind of just ruin everything for the fans, especially now that WWE is so interactive with Twitter. They show everything on the WWE network. You have everything going on with that. But it's just pretty crazy. Like, you have so many websites writing articles about all these wrestlers, all the dirt sheets, etc. And it's just kind of killing it because it sends the fans a message saying like, hey, like if one person thinks this, should we all think this? So I mean,
back in the day, we didn't have to worry about that. I mean, back in the 90s and early millennium, before dirt sheet existed, before social media existed, we were super full of suspense. We were like, oh man, I wonder who's going to really win this. No spoilers. Like, oh my goodness. Like, there was no internet.
Yeah.
We didn't really work on the internet. When it was the Hogan and Sting rivalry or the Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat rivalry back in the day, you never knew who was going to win because we didn't have to worry about social media.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really killing off the fan base on that. But look, I am actually if AJ wins, I'm happy. And besides, Roman Reigns is going to be probably champion maybe like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, yeah, within a year, which is kind of bad in my opinion, yeah.
I know.
That's why I'm hoping for Seth Rollins to return very soon to reclaim what he never really lost to begin with. Yeah. I mean, and hopefully let's just go forward from there. But anyway,
it's going to be incredible. You got John Cena coming to Memorial Day.
Yeah, too. John Cena will make his return Memorial Day. But before we get into Dirt Sheets, we got about, 11 minutes left on the show, Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just cover NXT a little bit just because I want to recap a little bit of what happened on NXT if I can get this going for you. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to basically give you kind of a winner and loser segment of NXT. You know, I'm not going to talk about the matches too much, but first match you got Asuka versus Ava Marie. Okay, Ava Marie returns to the ring, and I mean, to be honest, it was a better match than I thought it was going to be. I don't know if you got to see that match. I know you were telling me if you wanted to watch NXT tonight.
She's developing her character.
Yeah, I mean,
she's trying to get better.
She's trying to get better in the ring. You know, I got to have appreciation for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot of people, you know, the fans at the event, and this is a pre-tape show, obviously. So the fans at the event, or you can't wrestle, and then, you know, there's
some haters.
They're not liking on her. You know why? Because she has so much media exposure. I feel like if she didn't have the media exposure, would we like her to begin with? Obviously, maybe not. You know, it just depends. You know, Total Divas, I think, kind of ruined her career a little bit just because
she talked about her personal life too much.
I mean, the personal life, you know, you see how she is outside of the ring, and then okay, well, you know, if I don't like her outside of you know, the ring and what she's doing in the ring, you know, maybe I just don't like her in general, you know. But I mean, you know, I somewhat enjoyed this match. Okay, Asuka put Ava Marie over, in my opinion, even though Ava Marie lost. You know, I think Asuka was trying to work with Ava Marie in this match, and she was trying to help, you know, build her credibility as a wrestler because she was getting in her shots. I mean, don't get me wrong, but
you got Asuka comes from the championship background. She's 10 times better than.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like in-ring ability go, yeah, I agree with Tony. Asuka, you know, she's a world-renowned superstar. You know, she's done a lot, so much out of the business besides what she's doing now in the WWE. So the fact that, you know, she's helping put over a talent like Ava Marie, who, you know, she's only been in the business, 3-4 years, but at the same time, her in-ring ability isn't there. She's working on that heel tactic mentality going on with her and Nia Jax, which I kind of like. You know, I mean, I feel like, you know, you don't see a lot of women with bodyguards besides who else? Naomi from, you know, Team Bad, basically, etc. You know, so going forward, I'm just gonna skip to the main event. I mean, that way we can talk a little about. Well, let's talk about what happened this past week.
Okay.
And I'm talking about Samoa Joe winning the NXT Championship. Okay, this happened at a house show. I don't know where. I mean, this was somewhere.
It was in Italy.
Italy or somewhere overseas, something like that. But Samoa Joe finally walks away as the NXT champion. And this is, I don't know how long in the making. I mean, this is what, the third or fourth time that he fights Finn Balor for the title?
He's still the champion, am I right?
Who, Finn Balor? No, Samoa Joe's
Samoa Joe's still champion. How come WWE needs to update their status right now? Because on the roster right now it says Finn Balor is still the NXT champion. WWE, if you guys are listening, whoever's there, please update.
Yeah, get on the website and
update, for crying out loud. You're confusing the heck out of people.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired of this already.
I mean, congrats to Samoa Joe, by the way. I mean, this has been something in the making for him. And you know what?
It's a stepping stone.
It's a stepping stone. I mean, I feel like, you know, this is kind of the right thing for him to do because he wants to show his dominance there. And he's proving it. I mean, week in and week out. I mean, Finn Balor, don't get me wrong, top-notch guy, top tier in NXT. And I hope to see him on the main roster very soon. But now I feel like it's Joe's time to really stand out in NXT. And hopefully this is the year of Joe on NXT. And, you know, I don't know, you know, who they're going to match him up later on with. Probably Shinsuke Nakamura. You know, that's probably the only one guy that can probably compete with him at a high level.
Absolutely.
As far as matches go. And my buddy Carlos might not agree with me, actually, because he says that he still hasn't seen much from Shinsuke to be proven wrong.
You know what I wish would bring back
Who?
To NXT, even though he doesn't want to probably be for Raw or SmackDown? I wish Taz would come back. And I could see also Taz even endorsing Samoa Joe, because Taz did support Samoa Joe back in TNA. Mm-hmm. And I think he would be a great mentor or a great manager for Samoa Joe. Whether he's a heel or face, I mean, this guy, to me, he has some traits of Taz back in ECW when he would do the Taz mission and the Muscle Buster. I mean, Taz never did the Muscle Buster, but he did these innovative suplexes. They called him the human suplex machine for a reason. This guy, Samoa Joe, he moves extremely fast for a near 300-pounder. And to see finally Samoa Joe get his, his stepping stone in this NXT championship, we see bigger and better things for him in the WWE. Hopefully he can debut on Raw. I would like to see Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns for the WWE championship.
That would be a great match.
Exactly.
I would love that, actually. But right now, Samoa Joe is going to solidify himself on NXT. I think, you say it's a stepping stone, Tony, but I really think that, he really has nothing to prove in the industry. I mean, you think about it.
He needs to win the big one.
He's a top-tier guy, obviously. I mean, he did it in other areas. He did it in TNA, obviously. And I don't know if he did stuff outside of TNA. X-Division champion, TNA champion, right? Right. Okay, so anyway, going from there, Joe, everyone says, yeah, he's got a lot to prove. But, I don't think that he has that much more to prove. Obviously, he will have a lot to prove when he gets that main roster push. If he ever does, who knows? These guys are probably still getting six-figure salaries, even though they're not really on the main roster. And he's helping put over a lot of talent coming up forward. All these young guys, if you think about it, because Joe's so experienced in the industry. 38
years of age.
Yeah, he's a little older than the rest.
Have you noticed that a lot of the TNA talent that's coming to NXT or WWE are around 38 years of age? That's the average age.
Yeah, so anywho, Tony stepping off for a couple seconds here. Let's get some more backlighting in here so we can look good on the camera. If you guys aren't watching us live on YouTube and listening to us here on 97.7 FM The City, let's go forward to the main event, which was Shinsuke Nakamura versus, I forget his name, Elijah Sampson or something like that. The Drifter, the guy that holds it around the guitar with like dollar bills on it, basically. This is the guy that he hasn't really done a lot. He tried feuding with Apollo Crews, and he just kind of beats up people on the side. He's not really doing much. I'm still trying to figure out where this drifting character is going. But, the match Shinsuke versus, Elijah Sampson, it wasn't completely bad. It was a short match, actually.
Yeah.
But, Sampson put over Nakamura a lot, in that match, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with my friend Carlos yet about Nakamura that, maybe he's not, what we think he is just because of what he did in New Japan. Obviously, these guys are transitioning over to American-style wrestling. I don't know. There's a difference.
Everything is to the left in the American-style
everything's on the left, while in Japan, everything's on the right.
Exactly.
So you have to look at it that way. I'm pretty sure these guys are, well-adjusted enough to adjust to things like that. But at the same time, these are new wrestlers to us. Yeah. And they're fighting against guys they've never fought against, especially different type of styles. You have different styles over there in New Japan, but over here, there's, an abundance of styles of wrestling. So we'll see. We'll see.
There's no such thing. There's actually finishing maneuvers, signature moves do not exist in New Japan wrestling.
Yep.
So right now, American style, everything is a finish.
Yeah, but anywho, Tony, what are your thoughts on Nakamura before we close off the show? Actually, we're not even going to get to
I was reading up
today.
on Nakamura, and he is one of the most talented wrestlers in Japan. He, I believe Yoshitatsu's worked with him a few times. And, watching Nakamura, he's actually a very tall guy.
He's a tall guy. He's not short. Yeah,
he's not short. You figure guys from Japan or Asia are very short. He's like 6'2", maybe about 220, 230, and his moves are very innovative. I think, and I hate to say it, Tajiri was one of my favorites, but this guy, very athletic, he's strong. He's between, to me, a Tajiri and the Great Muta. This guy can actually. There's another guy back in the day. He was from Japan. I forgot his name. Oh, the Skoduki or something like that.
Who are we talking about?
That was back in the 1970s.
Oh, 1980s. Gosh, I wasn't alive in that era, Tony. Yeah, you're talking to the wrong guy there.
Okay, that guy was also, I think he mentored the Great Muta. Now, but Nakamura, this guy is fantastic in the ring. And when he wrestled against Sami Zayn, That was
still match of the year candidates. So
yeah,
we'll see what
exactly.
happens.
I could see that match was looked like a WrestleMania match to me. It was better than pretty much WrestleMania 32.
Yeah, I mean that was probably the main event of that weekend, in my opinion, also. But anywho, Tony, I hate to cut you off.
No, yeah, please.
Final minute, man. This is it. So closing shout-outs, Tony. 30 seconds, go.
Closing shout-outs. I want to give out a shout-out to my beautiful wife, Liza. I love you, honey. Thank you for supporting our Armbar show. Chris from Grocery. What's up, buddy? Thank you for watching. Also, all our fans from Armbar, we love you. I want to give you a shout out to Jay and Isaac, guys. Thank you for supporting us on the show. Even though you guys are not here, we want you here soon. You guys touch base on the Independence Series, and all my friends. I have so many to choose by. I am so limited time. Mike,
it's just shout out to my HEB crew. I'm going to be starting a new position very soon with the company. I'm going to be an indirect trainer. If you guys don't know what that is, I'm going to start training like the people in the front end, cashiers, etc., like that. So I'm super excited about that. And I have a career development series going for me, so that's coming up also starting tomorrow. So I got a lot of work going on for me, a lot of stuff going on at work. So preparing for that. Shout outs to my mom and dad. I love you guys. Shout outs to my family, my brother, my sister, my niece, my nephews, my brother-in-law. Love you guys. And to the rest of my family who's listening out there, basically, everyone, all the fans, all the Armbar Nation is what I like to call it, right? But, let's close it out, Tony. Let's see if we can remember.
Well, I just want to say one more thing before we close. Guys, if you guys are going to April 29th to the 1st, I'll be at the South Texas Comic-Con.
Me too, maybe.
And maybe Michael. So Armbar is representing. So guys, if you want to see me, get with me. And Mike will be representing. There's going to be some live wrestling action there too. So let's close off the segment. Starting with, how does it go?
Oh gosh, I had it in my head.
Bad times.
No, wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. This is something that Isaac usually does, and I wish Isaac was listening so he can text me this actually. But okay, I had it in my head right now, and then before you cut me off, it kind of just disappeared.
Sorry.
But okay, it goes. This is a Scott Hall saying, guys. If y'all are listening, okay, this is something that where he says good. Okay, good times. Okay, no, hold on. The last part is good times don't last, but bad guys do. But hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Good. Hey, bad guys don't. Hey, it's hard work pays off. The dreams come true. Bad guys don't last.
Bad guys don't last.
Is it bad guys don't last?
Bad guys don't last.
Okay, hold on. Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Good times don't last, but bad guys do.
And we guys are not down with Armbar. We got 2 words for you.
No gloves. Thank you for listening, guys. This is 97.7 FM The City, and this is Armbar Radio. We'll catch you guys next week, okay? All right. That was good. I finally remembered it. Yeah.
Dude, that was hard.
Yeah, man. We went a little over, but that's all right.
Lee. It's like worse than a calculus equation. I was going to give a shout out to.
We're still in the air, by the way.
Huh?
I said we're still in the air. Hold on. Let's close it out.
I was going to get out more shout outs, but I was like, yeah.
All right. Well, anywho, we're still live on YouTube for whoever's watching. We finished it off. This is it, guys. So, this is Armbar Radio for the week. If you're listening, thanks for watching. We record the show weekly for our local station, KCYP 97.7 FM. You got Tony over here taking care of stuff in the kitchen while I'm still here. But anywho, thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns about the show, please, post them down in the comments section below. I want to thank Tony for allowing us to do the show here at his place. I would have done it at my apartment, but I have some animal issues going on over there. So anywho, thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you all next week. Any closing for you, Tony, or no?
Yes, I want to give out some more shout outs. We have a lot. We have the Orta sisters.
Julie Orta.
Right? Julie Orta.
Yeah.
We have the Orta sisters. We have Lila Villegas that listens to us. We have Christopher, the grocery manager, Christopher Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's so many. We have We have a Jim Justice. I think Jim Justice listens to us.
Jim Justice, yeah.
Yeah, I love Jim Justice. He is so funny, I tell you.
He's a good guy.
Very good guy. He'll be there at the South Texas Comic-Con. My sister Sarah, I love you.
Haven't seen you at HEB Center in a while.
And I want to tell you thank you for watching our show every now and then. And we also, who else? LT Enriquez.
Yeah, LT.
He keeps up with us. And he lives out in the...
he was in what, Houston, Austin?
I think Dallas.
Dallas, yeah. The guy lives way out there, and he's from down here originally. So kudos to you, man. And, like, crazy transformation, by the way. Seeing you grow up, man, and, you know, see what you've become now, man. That's completely, like, just astonishing, man.
It's a big 360
he's on a commercial right now, dude, for DHR Hospital, I think.
Yeah, he got the gastric bypass surgery.
Yeah, well, whatever he did, dude, it worked. And, I mean, give him a shout-out, dude. He looks great. You know, the guy continues to work out and push himself every day. And gives me a little motivation to maybe hit the gym eventually, you know, start working on these pecs.
I'm already started.
Tony's got the pecs going on, right?
I don't know if I can do it.
But anyway, all right, that's it, guys. So we're gonna close it out. This is Mike the Biz, and that's Tony the Machine over here. We're gonna finish editing the audio, and hopefully we'll catch you guys next week. So we'll see you next week. All right,
easy, guys. God bless.